alive.
What a year for Skattebo so far. Unfortunately, we're not sure if he's going to go on Saturday. But joining us now, Charlie Ragle, part of our Crest Insurance Sun Devil Report. And Charlie, can you take us back to last week and the weather, delay? How did you guys? What did you do? Take us into the locker room when you guys had that two-hour plus delay.
Well, first of all, afternoon. Always a pleasure, boys. Unfortunately, it's the second year in a row that we've been in that situation. So we've got a little experience, and actually it's the third time that I've had to go through it in my career, all in probably the last 5 years. So I thought, the biggest thing that I thought Kenny did a fantastic job was letting these guys, we were going over film, we were talking in terms of, communication and just things that we wanted to get corrected in the second half, kind of like usual. But it was, obviously we knew we had a lot more time on our hands. So guys got some food and were able to, nourish their bodies and rehydrate, and they kept it light. It wasn't real tense in there. We were laughing and enjoying ourselves, but we knew when we got that call that we were going to have to go back out and refocus. And that's the one thing that I said to him. I said, listen, to Coach Dillingham, the team that comes out and is more focused will win this game. This isn't about X's and O's. This is a duration of so much time. It's a team that comes out and really wants to finish this football game. It's a team that's going to win. And I just thought he did really a masterful job in keeping these kids dialed in and motivated. And when it was time to flip the switch, they did it.
Charlie, I liken it to, when we used to do two-a-days where you would practice in the morning for a couple hours, break, have some lunch, then come back. Like about 2:33, there's like a 2.5, maybe 3 hour break. And if you're kind of used to that situation, you have something to rely on or to revert back to that's kind of a like-kind thing. Was that in your mind in reference to like the good old two-a-days and being able to relax and get some food and get recharged and come back out for another practice, in this case, a second half?
I think that's exactly what it is. And I think that the fact that we, like I said, I've been there 2 other times. We were here together last year going through it in the opening, game of the Kenny Dillingham era. But I also went through that up at UW when I was at Cal, and we were in there for a really long time. And I thought, that just watching how Kenny handled it this year in terms of keeping these guys focused, but keeping it light, and just saying, letting them understand that, hey, you can breathe, we've got some time, but when I have to refocus this thing, you got to stay on task to know that there's going to be a time where we've got to get back into that mode. And I think that's exactly what it was, and they did a really, really good job of answering the call.
Charlie, how much are you checking out UCF? Because they just destroyed U of A. It was at their field, of course. Now they're coming to the desert, but they just put a serious hurting on the Wildcats. This is a very dangerous team coming up Saturday night.
Yeah, I liken them. I absolutely agree. I liken them to a Kansas in the sense that the record doesn't necessarily indicate how good they are. They just have had some games that haven't gone their way. And, when we played Kansas, it was the same thing. This team was better than what their record indicated. It is certainly the same thing for UCF. They could have a couple games that could have gone the other way, and it would be completely different in their record, right? They are talented. They are long. They're athletic. They can run. It's a good football team.
Coach, I'm curious when it comes to knowing the other opponent, knowing the coaches. Coach Dillingham worked with Gus Malzahn, who's the head coach there at UCF. How much does that play into as you guys kind of prepare for an opponent, knowing the other coaches' styles?
I think that certainly is something that is factored in for sure. Right? You've been around somebody, and what their nuances are, what makes them tick per se, and how they call games, and how they prepare. So it gives you some insight, definitely an insider's advantage, if you will. And then what Coach Dillingham has done with that information and disseminated it to myself or Marcus or Brian. I think that all certainly helps in the equation when you're putting a game plan together. I think that again gives you some inside information that is certainly beneficial. But they could obviously say the same thing on their end as well, right?
Yeah. That's a good point.
And as far as the starts, when you look back at that, is we talked about that second half, Charlie, and with this game as far as getting off to that start? Is that kind of that theme that was mentioned during the bye week when you go into Oklahoma State and carry through that second half, that's what you want at 5 o'clock on Saturday night?
Well, I think, when you talk about on the road, I think, it's been chronicled, obviously. We had to squeak the one out at Texas State. We didn't play, well at Cincinnati. We didn't play well at Texas Tech. Early on, Cincinnati, we started to play better as the game went on. Cincinnati, we played well when it started, got up on the score, and we had the turnover, and then kind of hit a lull where Texas Tech, we started slow. We've had just trials and tribulations, I should say, on the road. We needed to get a good road win that was looked the part and was executed, that way. And so I think from us, at home, obviously a little bit different energy. The kids love to play at home, so I think coming out at 5 o'clock, we're going to be excited to play this one here at home.
And Charlie, whether Cam Skattebo plays one way or the other, I mean, I loved how you utilized him in the passing game, the slip screens, the screens, third down and short. Has he always been that adept at catching the football? I mean, he was on display as your receiving core last week. Has he always had that in him, or is that something that's developed over the last couple of years with him?
No, I mean, I think he's that kind of athlete. He has the ability. Think about the stuff we did with him last year in punting the football too. The kid's just a really good athlete. You know what I mean? Like he's a really good football player, and I think he certainly enhanced those intangibles. His pass pro, his catching the football, but I think there's some natural talent that young man has, and you certainly saw some of that next level talent, as you mentioned, in receiving the football against Oklahoma State.
Charlie Ragle's our guest on the Right Toyota guest line. All right, Coach, here we go. In the interview that Kenny Dillingham gave earlier in the week for Skattebo, he did not use the OUT word. He did not say that. So, Charlie, it's just the three of us just talking here, four of us with you.
This isn't his first rodeo there, Jimmy.
Just us, Charlie. Is he in or is he out?
What did Kenny say?
That's the Bible, right?
Good answer. Yep.
That's great.
Hey, I didn't fall off the turnip truck just last
I
time.
know, Coach. I know. I'm well aware of that, but I just found it interesting that he did not use the OUT word. I mean, that's got to give you some hope.
I think it gives, I think that it is what it is, and
nice try, Jimmy. Good try, Jimmy.
I'm trying.
All right, we got to go to break, Charlie. I'm going to help you out.
Yeah, I love you guys.
Yeah.
Go Devils.
Go Devils. That's Charlie Ragle joining us. Thanks to the Crest Insurance Group for sponsoring Charlie Ragle. Crest Insurance Group offers personal, business, and specialty insurance solutions for clients across all the markets. Check out crestins.com. Appreciate Charlie joining us. Here's the thing. Why wouldn't you say he was out on Monday? So this UCF Knights team could just basically sit back and prepare for Brown or prepare for whoever and then bring him in because he is their number one player.
No question.
Why wouldn't you do that? I mean, I was thinking about that last night. I'm like, gamesmanship.
Yes.
Everybody does it.
Yep.
And Coach Dillingham knows Gus Malzahn. He coached with him for a couple of years at Auburn. Why wouldn't you just say he's out and let the media buy in and let everybody know?
And then he plays
first, and then he plays, and then they don't know how to stop him because they don't have to waste. Because right now they're in between. They're watching film.
Right.
Maybe you wouldn't be watching film if you knew he was out.
He said he's in between a probable and a questionable.
Yeah,
whatever that means.
Yeah,
that kid's playing.
I mean, if you look at his record, he's been dinged up. I would assume he's going to play.
He's going to try.
Why wouldn't you just? I mean, seriously, this is big. This is big time ball now.
Yes, it is.
This is Chaparral.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, Kenny. Let's go.
What a miraculous recovery. He got good on Saturday morning.
Why not? Yeah. Why wouldn't you do that? Especially with your
like the idea.
Player. They do it with quarterbacks all day long.
They do. Yep.
But why not with your number one player, your Heisman candidate? Anyway. Hey, again, thanks for Crest Insurance and Charlie Ragle for joining us. Coming up next, you may remember Pedro Gomez, the late ESPN baseball